Hello, welcome back, juniors. Sorry we can't be together in person, but just want to say thank you again for all your work. It's really, really cool to be engaging with you on projects that you're passionate about. Seen so much great work on the multi-genre project already. I'm really excited to continue working with you over the next month and into the end of the school year, wherever that might be, and it might be online for the rest of the year. We'll see. But what I want to do is like I've done for each of the video mini lessons, I want to give you where we are in our calendar because that's brand new right now, leading into the next month of class. And then give you an introduction for our first little assignment here coming back from the break. And I think you'll find it fun. All right, so let's first go through the calendar, and you'll have this link on Schoology as well. So here we are, quarter four. We just really have two standards, two goals primarily for the next month, right? One, you guys are going to create a passionate and a persuasive poem presentation and reflection to celebrate April, which is National Poetry Month. And I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. And then you're obviously going to continue all that good work you've been doing on your multi-genre research project. And we're going to sharpen our research and do some analysis coming up here in just a week. So if you look at the calendar, I've just laid it out for the next month. Obviously, we've got more school than that, but I just wanted to give you specifics on the next month. So starting out here, we're going to have a nice light, I hope easy and fun assignment to kick off this week. You'll notice as you go through the calendar next week, we're going to dive back into the research multi-genre project. So if you've fallen behind, you don't have those genres created. I particularly chose to do kind of a light, fun assignment here as we're coming back, so that if you needed to catch up, you could do that. So feel free to check in with me if you're struggling with the multi-genre project during this week as well. Next week, we're going to focus on doing some analysis. You're going to bring some of the articles that you've been working on together and enter the conversation about your topic with an original analysis piece. So that's going to be just one mini lesson, and then you're going to have the whole week to work on that and get feedback and check in with me. And then going forward, we're going to keep using that, basically that rhythm that we established before the break. I got feedback from students saying, having an assignment every day, that's way too much, Mr. Czaia. I'm with you, I agree. So yeah, we'll just really do two days on and then 2 days off, where all you need to do is really check in with me at least once during the week. And you'll see that kind of gets us through. So we've got assignments, doing genre work, getting feedback from me, connecting all these pieces together. And then finally, that multi-genre project is going to be due mid-May, so the 15th. And then I haven't sketched out the end of the year yet. I wanted to make sure to give us a solid month to really work on the multi-genre project, and then give us some time, to celebrate our multi-genre projects, read them. Remember, you're thinking of each other as audiences. And then we'll do something cool and fun to close out the year as well. So that's really game plan for the next month or so. And I think at this point, we should start talking about our work for this week, which involves poetry. Ooh, very fun. So you know this about me, that I am a nut about poetry. And let me just show you something. So if you type in this hashtag, poetry lockdown, into your YouTube, you will see that your crazy English teacher, he's been reciting a poem every single day of the quarantine, and then saying a little bit about why I love the poem that I recite that day. Now, you can see there's not a ton of views. I've been doing these on Facebook Live, so there are a few more views there, and then just uploading them to YouTube. Basically thinking about you all, because I was thinking about this project while I've been doing the videos. And here's the idea. So this is National Poetry Month. I started before National Poetry Month happened. But here's the idea. Let me go to your assignment here. I would like every single one of you, all right, as a first assignment, to pick one poem. that is moving to you, that's important to you, that's interesting to you. My challenge is pick some poem that you haven't read yet, right? You didn't do for your poetry synthesis. It should be something new. Um, so you're going to select a poem that's meaningful to you. You're going to give a little intro or background of the poet who wrote it, right? All this is, by the way, is out loud. You don't have to write this down if you don't want to. You can prep it, obviously. You're going to recite the poem aloud, right? That's really important. And you're going to share why you love the poem or why it's important to you, right? So this is really similar to our book talk that we did on Flipgrid, during quarter 3. You're going to have the whole week to do it, so it's not going to be due until Monday by 11:59. You should have that Flipgrid code. Czaia is I believe the code that gets you into my English class, and there's a specific code here for this particular topic or assignment. Right? So just like I was saying, basically you need introduce yourself, give title and author of your poem, a little bit of background on your poet. You can find a lot of that online, and how that background connects to your poem. Recite your poem with energy and enthusiasm. And again, all this you're going to see. If I'm just going to ask you to watch one of my videos, and I've linked you to one here, so you can see an example. Give an explanation why you love the poem, why it's important to you. Here's a great chance to showcase some of the close reading strategies you've learned throughout the year as a reading like a writer person in my English class. What's a line, image, or quote from the poem? Why does it matter to you? You got a lot of freedom there. And then I'm going to ask that you actually, after you've done that, re-recite either the whole poem, if it's a short one, or maybe a part of the poem, if it's a longer one, so that we can slow down as an audience and really take in the poem. And then close out by thanking your audience for listening and the poet for creating the poem. I think this is a poem that people who on Facebook Live has been following me have said that my recital of Ada Limon and her poem The Raincoat was one of their favorites. So I'll link you up to that. It's on YouTube. But you can check out any of them if you want. Bump up the views. So these are places I'd look. Obviously, just like for our project, Poetry Out Loud is great. Poetry Foundation's good. You could look to the spoken word stuff we did. If you find or want a poem that's not on any of those sites, that's possible to use for this project, but reach out to me individually. The reason that I'm really focused on those 3 sites and would recommend those more than anything else is because if you find a poem that you don't know anything about the poet, you're not going to be able to meet full credit for this assignment, because again, there's that background information, the poet part. So if you can find that background information, you can reach out to me and say, hey, Mr. Czaia, could I do this one? That's fine. But there's literally tens of thousands of poems on these 3 alone. So you've got a lot of options. Finally, I know some of you are anxious about this, right? You do not have to share this with anybody except for me if you don't want to, right? So I've made it on Flipgrid so that the only person who has access to your video once you submit it is me. But here's what I will say. One of the reasons I'm doing this and I've set up this hashtag is so that future generations of Cristo Rey students who do my crazy poetry projects can see what other Cristo Rey students have done for this, what poems they've picked, what have been moving them during this COVID-19 time. So what I would say is, if you are open to sharing with other classmates, you got a couple options. One, you can email me and say, hey, Mr. Czaia, could you share this on Flipgrid? And I'll open up the share setting on it. Or you can simply upload your own Flipgrid to whatever social media channel you're on and just put this hashtag in there so that others can, if they're on YouTube, if you upload it to YouTube on your YouTube channel, just put the hashtag in there. And that way, future generations can just search the hashtag like I showed you here, Poetry Lockdown, and not only mine will show up, but anybody else's who's used that hashtag. So let's start building poetry community. And obviously, after you've done the assignment, if you're like me and you're like, I want to keep sharing poetry, you can do that and do it on the hashtag, and we'll just keep growing a little library of poems. And also, I know some students have said in the past, Mr. Czaia, can I recite some of my own poetry? Yes, of course, but for this assignment, to get the standard, you do have to do first a poem from somebody else, right? Because that's part of the project is celebrating poetry that has moved you. So don't hesitate to create more work, more poetry videos, including your own poetry. I've done some of that on this too. But for the assignment, make sure you've got another poet. Okay, let me just see here. So there we are. So hopefully this is a fun way to start out the coming back from spring break. And again, one of the reasons I want to do this is, first of all, it is National Poetry Month here in the United States, so it's a great time to celebrate poetry. Second, if you're like me, you're missing the community, the Cristo Rey community, and this is a really cool way to engage with each other. One of my favorite parts of every school year is English classes. You've probably seen is when we circle up. We take the time to share our work. That's been, memoir pieces. It's been qualities exercises, and it's been poetry. And it's a really cool way to do that. So again, it's not a requirement. I know some people get shy about this kind of thing, but it's a great opportunity. And it'd be cool just to build up community even during this crazy time. All right. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions about the project or your assignment for this week. I hope you had a safe and a nourishing break. And don't hesitate to be in touch via email with questions, comments, or concerns. All right. Miss you all. We'll talk soon.